Helluva Boss is about a business called IMP, which uses a stolen grimoire from a royal elite to travel up to Earth. Here, the imps kill targets given to them by human sinner customers who the sinners believed wronged them in their time on Earth. Now, from the pilot, the original intent of the series, while having human customers as well, appeared to focus more on Stolas giving the IMP gang missions himself, thus explaining why, in addition to sleeping with Blitz, this early iteration of Stolas was so comfortable letting Blitz use his grimoire. It echoes the themes we currently explore with Blitz running his own business and the struggle of still being subservient to one of the royals or overlords, something that would have been even more relevant if Stolas was regularly giving Blitz missions like killing someone who is talking about global warming, such as in the pilot. Stolas indicates that more people dying from global warming means more people in hell, which is in line with a lot of what we've seen in other episodes of the show involving the demons and their interactions with Earth. Of course, hell is known for already being overpopulated, however, so why exactly would demons, and a royal like Stolas in particular, want even more sinners there? One theory I've floated in the past is that to Lucifer, the king of hell, it is less about having the sinners for himself and more about not letting God or heaven have the human souls. He would rather see humans come to hell, suffer, and then die for eternity than get into heaven. However, as time goes on, more evidence appears that Lucifer might be more of a hands-off type of ruler who lets the sinners enslave themselves through their vices, and a lot of what we see in regards to conquering Earth seems to come from the other princes of the Seven Rings as well as the Ars Goetia. So let's explore that and why it's happening. After the pilot, the most direct example we got of demons interfering on Earth was in episode 3 of season 1, where Vraska and her succubus and incubus were sent up to Earth to encourage lust and, as Blitz jokes, also spread STDs. We would later learn this is done with Asmodean crystals, special jewels that can let any demon wielding it travel up to Earth. These Asmodean crystals were seen in the most recent episode, when Blitz forces an incubus to use one to open a portal to Earth for him. This gave the impression that they are all too common, and that Blitz could have stolen any of these off the street to get his business going, but I think travel to Earth was always a lot more common than people are just now realizing, and that the restrictions made it so that Blitz couldn't steal those items. Blitz and the IMP gang live in Imp City, which does have sinners both as residents and visitors, but is primarily for imps as its name suggests. Despite this, there is an entire floor in Blitz's building referred to as the sucking floor, as in the floor where succubus usually work. Blitz's entire building seems to be used for special businesses that go up to Earth for one reason or another, each having their own special methods for doing so. With this being Imp City, that would mean there's likely multiple buildings like this in every city all over hell, each having all sorts of demons doing work up on Earth, though as implied throughout the series, Blitz is unique in that he is an imp running this business. In episode 5, the idea of freelance work doesn't even make sense to Millie's parents, who themselves seem to have a lot of history with war missions up on Earth. As Stryker indicates, these businesses are mostly just ways for overlords, royals, and other elites to get their bidding done on Earth, with all of the other demons just coming in for the small paycheck they can get by doing the hard part. The elites simply need to provide the portals and the information, and of course, the cash. Now, Blitz could have stolen an Asmodean crystal maybe, but the fact that he makes the guy use it instead of using it himself indicates it may be tied to a specific demon, and perhaps that this is the reason it's taking so long for Stolas to get an Asmodean crystal, as in text we see with Asmodeus, it's something they can't get done right away. Regardless of why Blitz didn't just steal an Asmodean crystal for his business, it would seem that there were other options even beyond that, but most of them probably limited the users in some way, making it unfit for his business purposes, even if it's just because it is tied to a specific user. The grimoire, being so powerful, was the best option perhaps, and one he felt he could get away with in the long term because of his personal history with Stolas. We saw in the most recent episode that in addition to the mysterious missions of imps, who seem to get involved with wars on Earth, and the seductive missions of the succubus, some demons go up to Earth to get involved with the drug trade. Barbie Wire, for some pharmacy in the Sloth Ring, was going up to Earth to get heroin in large batches, using a human disguise to make it look like she was only smuggling drugs for other humans. This is just a small glimpse into what is likely many missions to Earth where our resources are extracted. While it's possible Sloth also floods the human market with drugs, it seems they like to farm the Earth for its drugs even more so, to the point where so many of them are available on the streets in the Pride Ring. While Beelzejuice appears to be easily produced in the Gluttony Ring, a lot of the more human drugs they like may not be possible to get in Hell without access to Earth. Instead of flooding the Earth with drugs, Sloth seems to flood the Earth with diseases instead, if the plague doctors we saw taking care of Stolas are any indication. These real-life plague doctors were supposed to be traveling around to cure the Black Plague, but many conspiracy theories exist that they were actually the ones spreading it, with their mask being used to conceal their identities instead of protect them from the disease. The Ars Goetia in particular seem to have a strong interest in the Earth and its souls. Paimon is the king of the Ars Goetia, and the primary job he gave to his son Stolas was to decode the prophecies of the stars surrounding Earth and seemingly even beyond them. A great example of these star-based prophecies comes from the Book of Revelations, the final book of the Bible where the end of the world is described to the reader with cryptic symbols. One of these symbols involves God sitting upon his throne, carried by 4 beasts. One a man, another an eagle, another an ox, and finally a lion. These describe the 4 cardinal points of the zodiac clock, with the man representing Aquarius, the ox representing Taurus, the lion of course representing Leo, and the eagle alluding to the constellation we currently associate with Scorpio, but that several ancient cultures described as an eagle. These beasts were each said to have 6 wings, which seems to represent 1,000 years each. This alludes to the travel of our sun through those zodiac symbols on a 25,772-year loop. This means we spend on average 2,148 years with our sun in each zodiac sign before it begins to repeat itself again. Now, each of these 4 beasts have 6 wings, and with each zodiac sign taking a rounded down 2,000 years for our sun to pass through it, it is understood that each wing represents 1,000 years, as it takes about 6,000 years total to pass from one of these cardinal zodiac points to the next. Our mainstream history of the world only goes back just about 6,000 years to ancient Egypt and Sumer. This was the age of Taurus, where many of these civilizations were beginning to appear with myths of a great flood that nearly killed humanity and reset civilization. It is theorized that this symbolism alludes to a great catastrophe that happens every 6,000 years as the sun swings through these particular 4 constellations. While I can't say if this is the sort of interpretation that helped inspire the show itself, it is the kind of thing that Paimon and the other elites of Hell are trying to get more information on. When exactly this will happen, and how can these disasters be used for the advantage of Hell? For if they can know when it will happen, they can prime the humans to be as unable to handle it as possible, allowing for more souls in Hell instead of Heaven, and perhaps fighting on the side of evil in the final battle described in many legends even outside of the Book of Revelations. Until then, the best plan is the one that Hell seems to already have, which is to spread as much sin and destruction as they can before that time comes. With purposeful climate change to hurt humans, this will turn more of them desperate and thus to vices and crimes. While we don't know what Heaven's scale for purity is, the lustful behavior the succubus encourage do seem to be part of the plan to get more people to Hell in the long run. It may not even be a moral issue of lust itself that factors in here, but rather the negative outcomes from such behavior in a society constructed to use lust in very toxic ways. With enough disease and vice given to the humans, when the apocalypse comes, they could be entirely unable to handle it, and even the best among them may succumb to one issue or another that prevents them from being on the side of Heaven in that final battle. Though, as we are starting to see, Heaven doesn't exactly look like the good guys in the Helliverse, and who knows how much of the real-life interpretations will even matter in the long run of the story. For now, this is really just a fun deep dive on how Hell could be affecting Earth with their travel there. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.